Hello, how are you? Welcome to Bromtech Engineering. My name is Engineer Unsongo and I'm going to take you through Archicad. So today it is our first video in Archicad and we are going to see the introduction to Archicad and how to maneuver through the system. So as you can observe, my cursor to my top right, the shortcut for the application is there. So to open the application, we can right click or we can search Archicad. Archicad, there it is. So we open, and from observation, as you can observe, it is opening. It takes quite some time, and after it has opened, this is what you will see. If you have installed Archicad 23, you have new browse teamwork. If you want to look for a document, you browse, and if you want to start a new drawing, you click on new, and perhaps you want to continue a project that you had stopped before. The projects will be listed here, and as you can observe, if you want to open one of these projects, you just click on the project and then you come here to open the selected projects. So if you have worked on a project before and you want to open it to continue working, you look for it here and then you open selected. Option number 2 is to use this browse. You can browse for a drawing from elsewhere and open it here. Today I'm going to show you how to start a new drawing. So we go with new. With new, you click at new here, and then after that it brings this dialog box where you can insert the template to use, and here we use the default Archicad 23 template. If you want to use another one, you can browse if you have another template to use. We also have a work environment profile. This is the environment you will be working on. The last profile used is the last profile used in your last drawing, and if you're starting a completely new drawing, then it's better to use default profile. Or if you're starting a drawing and you don't want anything you had changed in the other drawing to affect this one, then always use your default profile. So to proceed from here, you ensure it is Archicad 23 template and it is a default profile if it is something you want to start working on which is new, or you can use the last profile used in the last drawing. So from here you click on new and it starts opening a project. This will open the interface where you will be working. From observation, you can see it has opened, and you can see some 4 blue things here. Let me just zoom in. These are the elevation markers. Apparently the default comes with elevation markers to guide you to know where to draw, because if you draw your structure in here, then it is going to automatically generate for you the elevations of your structure. If you want to see other things, you come to view and you can see a construction grid display. Look at how it appears. Then you can also uncheck it if you don't want to see it, and you can also view your ruler. There it is, and if you don't want to see it, you can also uncheck that. There are many things that you can uncheck if you don't want to see them, and you can even change snap guides and snap points from view. So on your top, you have file, edit, view, design, document, options, teamwork, window, and help, and these are the ones you will be using as you maneuver through your drawing. For instance, file is used whenever you want to open a new project. Let's say maybe you want to start a new template afresh, then you click on new. And open is when you want to open a drawing that you had worked on before, or you want to open a drawing that is stored in this machine. As you can see, I am able to have access to these drawings. You can also close a project from here or use this keyboard shortcut. A project can be saved. You can also save a project as in a different version and carry out all these other commands, including plot setting up, bringing external content, importing it from external sources, including external drawings from BIM clouds and normal drawings in PDF and PNG. So these are the commands you are able to use whenever you want to use this file, and you can even exit or print your work from here. Edit is used whenever you want to edit your drawing. Depending on what you want to do, you can undo or redo a command that you have made, or you can repeat a command that you did, the most previous command that you have done. You can, if you select something, then you can cut and you can copy it also. So you see, all of these are we cannot be able to utilize them right now because we have not done any command to undo it or redo it, and we don't have a last command to repeat, and we have also not selected the drawing to cut or copy, but we can paste something that we had copied from elsewhere. That is why we cannot be able to use them, but once we do that, then we can utilize them. You can also select all your walls here and carry out commands such as grouping, sending your drawings and images to the back or to the front by changing the display order, locking a drawing, moving it, aligning, reshaping, and all that. So don't worry, we are just brushing through very fast today, and as the time goes by, we will learn and use all of them. We already talked about view. View is used on those things you want to be observing as you're working on your drawing. Therefore, you can try and play with all of them. This trace is used whenever you want to trace drawing. For instance, if you have a typical floor that you want to trace on maybe a second story from a first story, then you use this. But we will actually have a look at it, including 3D options and zooming and 3D navigation extras. From view, we move to design. In design, we are able to access design tools, and as you can observe, the design tools are listed here, and you don't have to use these design and design tools to get the tools, because you realize the tools are already on this left side of our working interface. But before we go to that, we can just quickly go through this. From design, you can observe we also have connect, solid element operations that we majorly use whenever we are editing roofs and structures that we need to cut. And we also have design and roof extras, modifying of railings, grid systems, and story settings from design. Story settings are used whenever you want to set the characteristics of your stories, including the elevations and the heights of your stories. From design, we move to document. Document, these are the tools that you use whenever you want to document your work, including creative imaging, whenever you want to take renders of your project, and project indexes and schedules of your doors, windows, and walls, and all schedules that you might generate, and all the other tools listed here. If you want to use the tool, just click on the tool and know what it is all about. But we shall be using quite a number of them as we go on in this software. From documents, we move to options. Options are quite useful whenever you are working, because you can be able to edit your element attributes for when you're working in layers, lines, and to change your pens and their colors and fields, surfaces, and bringing new surfaces and textures here by importing them, building materials, profile managers, and all that. Property managers can also be used whenever you want to manage your work well. Complex profiles from options are used whenever you want to customize your profiles to whichever shape. That is one good thing that this software is good at. And actually, we will do a complete video on complex profile, so that by the time you're watching this video, if we have not done it, we are sorry, but we plan to do a video on complex profiles soon. Please keep checking our channel, and you will see where we have highlighted how to do complex profiles. You might also want to get project preferences that you work for your project. Here you get the working units that you will be working in, the dimensions. For instance, if I click on working units, I'm able to see I'm working in millimeters if it is per unit length, and then you have area and volume units. To go on, maybe project preferences, we also have dimensions. You are able to see dimensions are in these formats, and I majorly prefer using millimeters. So, but the default is plain meter, so you can choose the one you prefer, and of course you can edit the number of decimals you want and the accuracy that you want in your dimensions. So for options, those are what we need, and you can also change the work environment or apply a profile. For instance, if there is something that is behaving in a way that is not normal, you can come and use the normal standard profile. If you have changed something and you want to go back to the standard profile that we use. And as you can observe, all these tools come in handy whenever you are working with this software. We also have teamwork. Teamwork is used whenever we are doing projects between more than one person, for you to send work changes and receive work changes from your partner. And actually Archicad is able to allow you work on a project as a group by distributing tasks and combining changes once you have carried them out. But in the initial stages, it's better to learn first how to work individually and generate a full project before you come to teamwork. And then we have window. Window is used to get all things you need for you to be able to navigate. If you want to hide your palettes and toolbars, this is where to hide them or enable them to be viewed, and closing of tab projects, showing of tab overviews, and all that is obtained at this window. Help is obtained whenever you want to get information about Archicad, Graphisoft, and generally on how this software works, and be able to register for any online training and check for updates for our software. So that is all on these tools that we have up here. But as you can observe below it, we also have quite a number of tools that we can use, and as you can see, this is to do something that you've done, and this is one of them is undo and the other is to redo. So we also have these. You can use them whenever you want to edit your document. Some of them we observed them up here, and now we are seeing them here, so it is a matter of choice, and you can come to window and change the ones you want to appear and hide the palettes and tools you want to be hidden. So all of these are within these tools that we've studied, and please you can also customize these tools up here so that you can use the ones you like and the ones that are able to be used for that specific project. For instance, this is used whenever you want to measure. This is used whenever you want to sketch something or copy something from another floor from one floor to another. Therefore, please study them. Just try using each and every one of them to see how they work. And this one is used whenever you want to trim your elements that are getting to your roof. This is for chamfering orthogonal ends, and this is for ensuring that your lines, walls, and linear objects meet at an angle of 90 degrees. This one is also used whenever you want to limit the distance that your lines, walls, or objects can be elongated or moved by setting where they should reach. We also have cut, split, and many more, so please learn on how to use them. Now I want to dwell on these tools here. From observation, we have a wall, a door, a window, wall opening, column, beam, slab, staircase, railing, roof. This is a sky, no, it's not a skylight. This is a shell tool, skylight, curtain wall, morph, object and mesh tool. So they come in handy. These are the tools that you will mostly need to be using, and as you can observe, once I click, and then this changes. Therefore it means the properties that I'm having here are with respect to whatever tool I have chosen here. For instance, let me choose a wall, and then I can either double click it or use this to edit it. Therefore after double clicking, this dialog box comes about, and I can change the kind of wall I want, if it is generic wall, custom wall, or a generic structural wall. And as you can observe, I'm not able to edit the thickness if it is a generic wall. I can only do so if it is a custom wall or this generic structural wall. Therefore mostly we use walls of 200 millimeters, and I can also be able to edit all this. As you can observe, I can change or override the surfaces of my walls, and this is actually the painting I give on my walls. The first one is the external paint, this is the internal paint, and this is the paint and the edges perpendicular to the internal and external edges. So I enable them, and then I'm able to change. For instance, if I want to change this into a red color, then I click there, then I look for my color. Let's say I pick vermilion. There you go. And if I want my walls to have a uniform color, I just check that. As you can see, they are uniform, and if I uncheck it, then they have different colors. I can also change my classification and properties from this window, and also my geometry and positioning. What have I not talked about? The height of my walls. I'm able to say the home story where I will draw my walls, and be able to edit the height of my walls. But from observation, you see that the height is not editable. Therefore I change my top link. The top link tells me the highest that my walls are, where they should link to the walls or objects on the other floor. Therefore I can stop linking them. This will enable me to edit the height of my walls. Option number 2 to do this, if I needed a wall of 2.85 meters, that is 2850 millimeters, then I'm able to define it in my let me just cancel that, to define it in my story settings. As you can observe, I have 0, first, second floor. I can insert a story below or above, or delete a story, and I'm able to say the height to the next story. So if that is 2850, I can do that, and then I can return that to be 3000, and let's observe what will happen. Now you can see I'm not able to edit it because it is linked, but it has changed to 2850. So before I start working on my drawings, it is always expedient to go to design, story settings, and change this to the maximum height of my walls, or I can stop linking it and change it from here. Therefore that is a wall. If I'm drawing a wall, let's say we use that, and then I use a wall of 200 millimeters thick, and then I draw it. There you go. So in my walls, whenever I'm drawing, you observe also we have this. This is used to guide you on how to draw, and you can edit a few things here and there. And for instance, the geometry method to use whenever you're drawing a wall, you can use just linear, the way we have done this, or you can draw something circular, or use 2 edges to draw a wall, 3 walls, 3 enclosed walls, or use 4 to draw enclosed walls. Therefore as you can observe, there is this thick blue part, and this shows the face of my wall. I can change that from here. If it is the reference line, and if I want it at the center, you observe it comes at the center. Sorry, if I want it on the outside face or on the inside face, but for this time I want it on the outside face. I normally prefer working on it on the outside face. Yeah, so that is a wall, and I'm able to edit other things here. The height, I'm able to link them to whichever story and state the home story, wall thickness, I can also change it from here. I can input my angles if it is a sliding wall, and etc and etc. So that is my wall. Let's assume it is there. I can also click 3D, and from observation, there you go. So I want to change the color of this wall. We had talked about that. So I can click and then double click there. It brings this dialog box. Therefore, I'm able to change the color. Let's say I want this to be vermilion for you to be able to see it clearly. So you see, there you go. So you have it. After drawing my wall, let's assume this was a building. Let me draw other walls too. Let me enclose this. I'm drawing that. Don't worry, I'll explain this as we continue studying. Yeah, so that is our enclosed structure. And the second one is a door. Editing a door is the same as editing a wall, but if it does not bring the doors, then you have to write the word door for you to be able to observe it, for it to be able to generate it from the libraries. Therefore, I can pick any door I want here, for instance this door, and then I come to hinged door settings. Here is where I'm able to edit the settings of my door. For instance, I can choose that. I can pick the handle I want, and then I can use this to edit my door. So I can open it in 2D and in 3D, and the angles I can state them here. I can change the modeling. I can override the model paint by painting a new color here. Then I can even give it my glass a color, and all the things I need to edit, I can click them here and then edit everything. If I need to change the color, I come to model attributes and change my color there. So I can edit my door there. Let me say I'm satisfied with this door. I can put my door there and then state where it's opening. I can also do that. After door, we have a window. A window is the same as a door. We edit it the same. So we can come and there are different types of windows. We have bay and bow windows, empty windows, historic windows, and other types of windows, including sliding. So let's say I want to use a sliding window, and I can pick that. I can customize it to whatever I want by editing the parameters on this pop-up window. So after editing it to whatever I want, I can preview and positioning by adjusting my dimensions and my sizing of my window. I can even put window sills and other things here using this command. As you can see, I have many things that I can do here, including putting a window sill, fixtures and fittings to my window, changing the model color of my window, which is done here, inserting a window opening, and all that. So I can do that there. When I'm satisfied, I just click OK, and I place my windows there, as you can see. So after a window, I can also use a window opening. Let's say I'm satisfied. Editing is pretty much the same. As you can observe, there is our opening. If I want to input a column, let's say I need to get the veranda or the patio to this structure on this side. Therefore, I can input my columns here. And from observation, these are square columns. If I want rectangular columns, I double click, I go to segment, not rectangular but cylindrical ones. Then I can choose that, and I can edit the things that we have edited in other items before, using the same way, including the model overriding of surfaces. Let's say maybe you want a column to be of that color. Let me do that, and then I put there. So these are circular column and these are a square column, and you can also have rectangular and such and such. So from my 3D, you can see I changed the painting on this column, and you can see the square columns are there as well. This is also a beam below the column with those tools, and let me use first of all, let me cancel it, and let me use this window. Yeah, I double click, and then I can edit whichever way I want and draw my beam. Let's say I want to draw my beam from here to here. So in 2D that is how it will appear, but in 3D that is how it appears. So if I want to use a beam, I can use that tool, and editing it is the same as the other tools. Below the beam we have a slab. Sorry, I keep on opening them in 3D, and I want to draw them in 2D. By the way, you can still draw them in 2D if you so wish, but it's better you draw them in 2D instead of 3D, because it is better to edit them in 2D than in 3D. So I can double click on my slab, edit my parameters. For me to be able to unlock this, then I need to change the type of slab to use, and then I can state my home story where I want to draw the slab. I can override the surface of the model by painting it to whichever color I want, and then I can draw my slab, and then I can change the geometry method of drawing my slab. As you can see, please try playing with this and see how they work. So I have drawn my slab, and from 3D you can observe this yellow paint here. This is my slab. It is black from the top and white from the bottom, and that is it. So from the slab we move to a staircase. A staircase, you also edit it the same way we have edited the other tools. You can, this is the stair width, this is the number of steps, this is the height of the riser, and it's in millimeters because we had stated our dimensions from options. This is the distance or the thickness of our threads, and we can also state our angles and the baseline of our staircase. So if I'm satisfied with these details, I click OK, then I'm able to draw my staircase. So whenever you're drawing a linear object in Archicad and you want it to follow a straight line, please, as you can see, there is a guide, a blue line that will guide you to draw it in a straight line. But if you want to draw it well without wasting time, just press down the shift button, and as you can see, even if I move my cursor, then it moves in a straight line that is orthogonal to our planes. So I can draw a stair like that, like that. If it is a U stair, from observation you see I have my U stair there. Let's go to 3D. Wow, you can see my stair is there, and from the stair I need to have railing. So with a railing, you can click on railing, and then on the object that you want your railing to rest on or to follow its profile, then you go there, it will highlight the object, and then draw your railing. Oh, there you go. Wow, I messed there. Let me do that. Yeah, so there you go. There is the railing from 3D. If you can observe, we have railing to a stair. This railing can also be customized to anything you want by just double clicking it and changing all these properties. As you can observe, you can play around with this to change to whatever you want. You can even do this to remove that and do that. You can add that, and you can play around. You can even change the shape of the railings and etc, etc. From the railing we move to a roof. A roof is used whenever you are doing roofed structures, and when you double click it, you can change the roof pitch here. Let's say we use 21 degrees. You can also change the roof overhang. Let's use that. The curve resolution, you can use the one you so wish, but I like using the by arc method. You can change the model of your roof. For instance, let's do that. Let me change my roof to French red, and then do this to be stucco white fine, and then I can also go to multiplane geometry and positioning and change the thickness of my roof to 200 millimeters. I can change how it appears at the ends. You see I can also change the pitch from here, the type of roof from here, whether it's a gabled or a heave or all those. And up here I'm able to interact with this and change the construction method to what I want that suits my need. For instance, I like this one because it enables me draw customized roofs. So let's roof our structure. Let's roof our structure. Wow, there you go. In 3D, this is how our structure appears. Don't worry, our structure is looking funny, but today we are just introducing the software. So you see I have been able to do my roof, and actually I can edit this roof, and we will actually do a separate video on how to edit the roof. For instance, if I want to change this from a pitched roof to a gable roof, I can do that, then do that. Look at what it brings me. And then I can extend this wall up here. Let's do that. The height of that wall, let's say it's 7,000. Wow, it goes above the roof, but don't worry, Archicad has got you. So you click that, and then you do that, and you select the roof. Wow, look at what happened. It has drawn a perfectly good roof that you want to be drawn. If you want to change this, you can edit the roof to whatever you want actually. So with the time we will learn how to do customized roofs and how to work around with these tools. Moving to the next tool, this is a shell. Shell tool is used whenever you are doing complex roofing systems, for instance stadium roofs, and objects with a lot of curves and a lot of angles that might be problematic to use these other tools to achieve. Therefore you use this and customize your drawing to whatever you want. So that is a shell tool. From the shell tool we have our skylight. Skylight is found in objects, and we normally use it whenever we have a roof with a skylight on top. And with time we will also learn on the same. For my skylight, this is a curtain wall. Curtain wall is normally used nowadays for construction of structures because glass is readily available and it's cheap and light, and it can be molded to the shapes you want, and it's also beautiful for aesthetics. So you can use curtain wall, and you can edit it, including the member placement, where you want to have your frames, your junctions, the material to use and such. From curtain walls we move to the move tool. The move tool is used also in generating complex objects, coming up with new complex profiles that you want to work on here, and with time we will also learn on how to use them. From the move we have a very important tool, this chair over here. This chair contains the objects that we might need. For instance, if you have drawn a structure and you want to put a car there, you just search and you can pick from this. And sometimes if you're connected to the internet, from my observation here I'm not connected, if you're connected to the internet, you have quite a number of them to download and include them in your library. So if you want to draw, let's say, this executive car, you just click, you change the properties, you can even change its model, override its surface, custom settings, and so forth. So you can click OK and place your car there. So from a 3D, you can see our car is there. If you have done your house and you want to place your beds, you can just search on bed and pick that bed, double bed, and you can even just click there and you will have your 3D bed. And from a 2D you will also be able to observe it, but we are working in the first story, so you can observe our bed in the ground story, because from observation it was in the ground story. So objects, there are very many objects, and whether you can even type A and it will bring quite a number of objects that you can work with. Just type any letter and scroll to see the objects that you have. And whenever you want to know whether an object exists, just type its name and scroll down so that you see. From there we have this tool. It is very important. It is a zone default setting tool, and it is used in zone stamping and area calculation and such, and we will use it whenever we are doing documentation of our drawing much later. So from there we have a last tool in this design segment, and it's called a mesh tool. Mesh tool is used whenever you want to model your terrain, slabs, and slab-like objects with different elevations, and which can be slanting, but mostly it's used for terrain work, and you can edit the properties as we have done in the other objects. For instance, let me use this ground floor steel geometry method. It's this one, but I can use whichever. So let's say that from observation you can see it has put my terrain, and I can change this to put elevation, slants, and all that. So that is all in this design tab, and we can close it and go back to 2D. Let's go back to first floor, because that is where all we started drawing. So in document we also have quite a number of properties. This is a dimension tool used whenever we are doing dimensioning. This is for leveling, whenever we want to know elevations in our structure, including sections of our structure and heights of objects. So it is an elevation tool. This is a text tool when we want to input our text. Let's say you want to type here Bromsom. Bromsom is our company, the one that sponsors Tech Engineering, as you can see, Bromsom. Yeah. So if you want to type anything, this is the tool to use. This is the label tool. Whenever you are labeling your drawings, you can use that. For instance, you can see, and then you can edit here and write whatever you want. So you can even delete, you can change the font, the size, and whatever you want. Below the leveling tool, this is a fill tool. Whenever you want to hatch your enclosed shapes, these or fields, this is what to use. For instance, you can click and then you can draw your fill using the geometry method you prefer. Sorry, my mouse is messing me up. Yeah, so you see we have a fill, and you can actually play around with this fill. You can change that, change the foreground color, observe what happens, change that. Yeah. That there are many ways you can play around with it, as we will see later on. After the fill tool, is the line tool. Line tool is used in drawing lines. Whenever you want to use line work, this is the tool to use. Below the line tool, we have this circle over here. This represents a tool that we use whenever we are drawing on circles and oval objects. Let's do that. So I can draw an arc or a complete circle, as you can see. Below that, we have a polyline. Polyline is used whenever we are doing lines, multi lines in our work. Below the polylines, this is a default drawing default settings, where we set our drawing IDs, the drawing name, the source files, frames and all that. Below that we have a section tool. This is a section tool whenever you want to cut a section in your drawing, and you see it is actually auto rebuilt in the system so that it is automatically generated. So we can do that, and it has cut section 1. So whenever you want to cut a section, this is able to generate it for you. After that we have this is the elevation tool. Whenever you want to put elevations to a structure, you use that, but in default they have been put for you, placed for you. So if you want to put your own, you can come and draw the lines where you want to view your object, and as you can observe, there you go, there we go, and so on and so forth. From there we move to the interior elevation default settings, and this is where the tool to use whenever you want to do interior design and observe your interior elevations. From interior elevation we move to sorry, the worksheet default settings. It is used whenever you're preparing your worksheets in readiness for printing or presenting, so we will use it later on. From there, from the worksheet we have a detail default setting. We will not really use it as much, but whenever you want to insert a detail to a certain drawing, then this is the drawing to the tool to use. After that we have a change default setting, which we also do not really use it as much, but with time you will see the few instances where it will be required. From there we move to more. We still have more tools, as you can observe. This is a grid line tool, and as you can observe, the grid is there. You can edit the settings. Let me draw it. If you want to draw your grids manually, you see, you can even edit your grid. You can change this to maybe 3 if you're using numbers, and so on and so forth. You can even elongate it. Yeah. From there we have wall end settings used to detail your wall ends using these cases and shapes that we have over here. From wall end we move to this is a corner window default setting, used whenever you want to input your corner windows. The tools are many, but we shall see how to use each and every one of them when the right time comes. So we also have light sources. Whenever you want to illuminate a surface, this is the tool to use, and you will study how to place it later on in this channel. We can use these tools to also detail. This is a tool used in detailing of arcs, the diameter of an arc and the radius of an arc or a circle, and this one is used whenever we want to detail an angle between two lines. From there we have a spline. A spline is used whenever you're modeling objects that requires you to use a line, which is really not a single line or a polyline, but a group of curves that you can use for your modeling. From a spline we have this as a tool. This is used for coloring, and it is not really used as much, but whenever you want to start customizing your own things, we will see how to use this. From that we have a figure default setting. Whenever you have taken your images, this is where to edit them and such. Lastly, we have a camera setting. Whenever you want to render your drawing or take a photo of your drawing, this is the tool to use whenever you want to set your camera in readiness for that. So these are basically the tools you will use, and whenever you have chosen any tool, you can edit that tool, the properties of that tool from here. From also observation, if you want to edit the properties of material, you can click on that object and then place Ctrl T. Press Ctrl down and then press your T, and then it will bring your properties and your dialog box for you to change and edit all that you want. We also have a 3D window. This is used whenever you want to insert 3Ds you can orbit is changed down here. You can disable that. You see you cannot orbit anymore, but once you enable that, you can orbit your drawing. And also there is a keyboard shortcut for that, which is Ctrl O. You can also have your elevations here, your sections. Let's open that, which are generated by the system. So let's do that. You see, it gives me an elevation of my drawing. And there is also this bit which we have not talked about. This bit contains a few items that you might need. If you want an elevation to appear here, then this is the place to use. It was south and it has moved to this elevation because that is what we've chosen. When you're also layouting, you will use this, and then you either use your master layouts or any other layouts that you deem best. So all this we will learn how to do them later on. So thank you very much. We also have these few tools here. These tools are really in handy whenever you're working on a project. For instance, if we've chosen a wall, then you are able to edit here and pick the type of wall that you want to work on. But majorly, if you don't know how to use any of this, please work with defaults because it is easier to work with them. This tool is also a marquee tool, and as you can observe, you can select your drawing. If I have selected marquee, then I can select this region for me to print it or hide it or work with it. So this is the tool to use. Thank you very much for this. We have actually studied the basics to the introduction of Archicad, and I believe that you have learned. Please install this software in your computers. Try to practice. Try to draw your walls, doors, and all these objects, and see how that takes you. So thank you very much, and when you have done a drawing, you just click on file and you save your drawing. So it will prompt you to state where you want to save your drawing, and then after typing the name of the drawing you want and the type you want to save it as, you can press save. And if you want to just close, then you use this close option up here, or you can restore down or minimize your window. Therefore, those are the basics in Archicad. And please subscribe to this our channel. We will be doing more videos on the same, and hope they help you as you seek to learn these great software used in design and detailing of architectural drawings. Please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for notifications in the future. And let us know, please let us know what you think about this in our comment section below, and we shall all grow together. So I'm going to close this window now because I am done with it. I do that, then it will prompt me to save or not to save. Let me not save because I don't intend to save this project. So it will load, and then boom, our Archicad is closed.